Scrappy peeps, Suzanna here today. Welcome to my channel. I am working on my next episode of Scrapbooking Boys to Men, and it is the letter J, and I have gone with journey. So this is actually a little bit of a metaphorical journey. Well, no, it's not a metaphorical journey. This is the evolution of the journey of his finding a college and a future swimming home to go to. So this was one of his first trips to visit schools. And so it sort of kicked off the journey, and that's why I'm using this photo. It's a photo that I have that I wanted to scrap, but instead of scrapping the actual experience at that moment, I'm scrapping the length of the journey. And it is hidden journaling because it's a long story and it would take up a lot of time, and B, because it's kind of private. So to start with, this is a Crafter's Workshop stencil. It's a 6x6 stencil, and I have mixed white texture paste from Golden with some pasties. It's Baby Boy Blue from Shimmers paints. So I've mixed it together to give the white some color, but also have shots of white through there. And I am putting the stencil down twice. It goes off the edge of the page, but I'm not worrying about that because it kind of gives you that effect of the clouds moving and kind of fading off into the edge there. So that is going to be the top half of my page, and I'm not worried if I cover up some of that. I have some pasty, some shimmers. This is liquid shimmers. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I'm just using a water brush and I'm just putting in some shadow. Now, it's not consistent shadow. You know, if you really apply proper design principles, it all comes up at the right angle, but I'm not worried about that. I just want to add a little bit of depth and darkness to some of the clouds, and it looks like it's very solid. You could see that there isn't any variegation and change in some of those clouds, but it over time as it dries, because I'm still working on wet modeling paste, texture paste, it melds in a bit more, a lot more, in fact. So I have just received the new PinkFresh Studio collections, and I absolutely love the colors. And so I am working with a mix of some days and keeping it real. In fact, the 12 by 12 page, all of the 12 by 12s except for the yellow are from some days, and then that yellow is from keeping it real. I liked the sentiments that are between the two, and I felt that they were a perfect way of, I wanted to use a mix of good days and bad days because, you know, it wasn't an easy process for him, and I wanted to reflect that with the stickers that I used. And so I tried to get a mix of them, but I will honestly tell you that most of them ended up just being about the good days and documenting the whole process. Well, and about just documenting really more than it ended up being about a mix of good and bad. Um, so I have converted the photo to black and white, and I love the sun flare in that, even though my husband ended up being very dark. I did try in Photoshop to lighten him out a little bit, but you actually lost the contrast in the photo, and so I just kept it the way that it was, other than just editing it to black and white. So normally I don't matte well, I shouldn't say I don't matte my photos because I do, but this really needed that shot of red to make the photo stand out. I have a lot of bright color in this, and so that busy pattern behind it, that is the pattern that I use to pull all of the colors together, is incredibly busy. And then you have the busyness of the clouds, and so it needed grounding, and that's why these solid colors, like the yellow and then that red, really grounds the page more. So I really liked this this notebook page, and I thought it would look great with a border punch to continue that look of the notebook. And I really liked this square at the top there, the rectangle at the top there, which gave me a good place to house my title, which was Journey. And so all along as I'm designing, that is the intent there, is that that will be where I'm going to house the title. I don't know what thickers or stickers or what I'm going to use yet, but that is the plan, and then that the photo will overlap that there. And I just like all of the overlapping layers, so you see the hints of the colors, you see the hints of um, all of the patterns, and it just, everything is tied together because you have not all of it showing. There's just that bits and pieces. So originally I thought that maybe I would just do the photo as a fold out. I would use some washi to anchor it, but I decided that I like the hidden journaling and being able to reach down in the page protector and pull that out was better. So I'm using some of my Gina K Thermo Web washi double-sided tape to adhere that down to create a pocket, and then I will cut the actual, to fit the pocket, I will create, I'm just going to use cardstock to create the piece that I will journal on. I still have not done that journaling yet, but it is definitely in the queue of the very many things that I need to do. So that there. Now, I don't adhere it down with that there as I normally would because the texture paste is still wet. I am working on wet texture paste and I'm perfectly fine with that. It's mostly dry. Texture paste actually dries pretty quickly, but I don't want to have that piece stuck to the texture paste. So I am going to caution you here that, you know, one of the problems of having all of the things is that you get distracted by all of the things. I've gotten so used to working with my scrap room kits that I don't have all of the things, that I have very limited choices. But now that I have, I think between the two collections, I have like 8 embellishment option packs, some of them with like 40, 60 pieces. Yeah, it changes the way that you look at things. So I have sort of sped through this video so that you don't see me literally shuffling for like 5 minutes and agonizing over embellishment options. So I've punched a red border here with just red lines at the bottom. I like that the, not red lines, with circles. I like the way that the circles complement the circles in the geometric pattern of that multicolored pattern paper. And I felt like I needed another solid color to ground the bottom of the page a little bit more. So that's why I put that strip down the bottom there. And I will zigzag stitch that in a green thread to just add a hint more green because there's not a lot of green in the layout, and B, to just add a little bit of texture, more texture to the page there. So I'm working on a header up here. I have that very dominant red strip down the bottom, and I feel like I need something with a strip up the top to complement that. So I've just cut out the B side of one of the papers that I used, and now I am popping up a sticker that says "Ups and Downs Authentic, This is Life," which is just perfect for the story that I'm telling, not of the flight, but of his journey. This is again me trying to use all of the things, and I know I don't want all of the things because I'm not an all of the things gal, but I did need to, I wanted more embellishment on that. So I like the way that the popped up elements really work with the texture of the clouds. So I'm rifling through the ephemera, and see how I pulled out that ticket? I put it away, which I should have just left it out. I knew better. I'm going to come back to it, and I am going to use it. So that it's a sort of a tealy aqua. It's hard to tell in the lighting. I think I forgot to turn one of the 2 lights on that I have, that I film under. That just says, it's got a big D, and over it, it says documented. And so I'm going to pop that up there so that that circle complements the circle down the bottom. So I went off camera to my sewing machine and I zigzag stitched at the top, and you'll see that in the close-ups, and then a good length of the bottom right hand side. I did leave part of it that didn't go all the way across, again just because I have lots of overlapping elements. It works with that same design principle of bits and pieces, and the bits and pieces that you see. So that sticker there says 1,000 times yes. So one of the positives of this journey, and I will put that again on foam and add that up top to that cluster there so that I have all of those horizontals. There's that ticket that I do pull out, and I just use the right hand side of it, and it says take note. It's the one thing that you actually read vertically instead of all the other horizontal, but I'm okay with that. So I pulled up the green label because I really wanted it was going to get covered up with the yellow where it was, and I didn't like the length of the yellow below the green, and so that's why I swapped those out there. So I thought that this "Hello, my name is" would make a great pull with the red. I really wanted some red there, but I didn't like it. It didn't make sense to say "Hello, my name is," and then I was going to have journey in the title. So I decided I will use something else for a pull there. Now I'm looking for a couple more circles. Right there, I thought that was a nice shot of red. It needed the shot of red, and I wanted a few more circles because I've got those two really dominant big circles, the top left and that bottom right, and I needed a few more scattered throughout in order to not have those eyesores and pull the layout together. That little heart puffy sticker there again with that shot of red. So I have pre-cut the title. I've used Tim Holtz. I've cut it in big letters and then I've cut it in cursive letters. And I decided to go with the cursive letters because that is the font that actually is the alphas that come with one of these two collections. I can't remember what. And I liked that better than the boldness of the big journey because it was a softer space. And so these smaller cursive letters fit in that softer space better. I'm going to fast forward through me putting this all down and then gluing it because you don't need to see that. It literally, it's agonizing. I think it's probably about 3 or 4 minutes of the video. And so that is the metaphorical title. It's not metaphorical. I shouldn't say that. That's the representative title, J for Journey. And it's both of my boys. So I wanted a sentiment on the pull tab for the hidden journaling there. And so I've made a tab. I've stamped that out of the green, the same green that is the title, which is also the same green used in that geometric pattern paper down below. And so these are stamps from Explore. Can't remember the name of the company. I'll link you in the box down below. And it says, take it all in, love this view. So I liked the take it all in about the journey and taking it all in and enjoying the process of the journey because it really was a long one. You know, he visited 5 schools, I believe, settled on Alabama, and then was it a year later? I want to say changed his mind, and we had to go through a different process. And then, of course, COVID hit, and so that changed how we approached everything. So originally, I had stamped that sentiment in yellow. I really didn't like it on the green, and I just want it on white, and it looks much better in white, and that is what I go with. So this is, again, part of the series, Scrapbooking Boys to Men, where Christine and I work through the alphabet. We are on J, obviously. So be sure to head over to Christine's channel and check out what it is that she has. I know she is participating today. It may come up later today. Enjoy the close-ups. If you have any questions about anything that I've done or product that I've used, please don't hesitate to ask. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks for stopping in today. Take care.